Good morning students. Welcome to Java class. Today's class I'll explain you about thread life cycle. Okay, so already we completed introduction part, how to create a thread and how to execute a thread. See example, you are creating a thread. Class A extends thread Java API class. Next in this public void run is a run method. Next, whatever you want to execute from this example, system dot out dot println. Okay, println example. This is a hello world. This I want to execute from this thread. This is the one thread, and next here I am creating a one more thread. Yeah. This is a example. You can say this as a dot Java. Next I am creating here b dot Java. This also class B extends. Class B extends thread class. Class B extends thread class. Next here also I am using public void run method. This method is compulsory in order to execute the thread. Now here whatever you want to print, example here I want to print system dot out dot println BSc. Example I want to print this. These two are separate threads. First thread name is A, second thread name is B. Okay, so now from which part this thread starts its execution? Okay, from which part its two threads starts its execution? After creating a two threads, we need to execute these two threads from main thread. Okay. Now I will create a main.java. See example main.java. This is another file. Main thread is example class A. Class A already created on A1. Now public static void main. The main method, program execution starts from this method only. It's a main method. Now, in this method, I will create objects for a thread. Okay, objects for a thread, and next I will call this. So, first thread is A, OB, new, A. It's a construct. Okay. Now, OB is the object of which thread? A. Now, OB dot start. First thread will be started. Now, second thread B, OB, new, B. Now, OB1 dot start. Okay, actually this is a process when you create multiple threads in a single program. Okay, now here when you create an object, a thread will be a new born state. Okay, when you create an object, that will be new born state. Means thread is created. That is called as a new born state. Next, when you are starting the method, okay, when you are using the ob.start method, okay, then what happened? The thread execution is started. That is in a running state. Okay, so and after completing this, that will be in a dead state. So when you create a thread and when you execute a thread, that thread changes from one state to another state. So there are different states, there are different stages in a thread life cycle. So that is our topic today. Okay, I will explain the different stages of a thread from starting to ending. Means when the thread is created till the thread is executed. What states, in what states the thread will enter, that I am going to explain now. Okay, so thread life cycle is nothing but when thread is created and till the execution of the thread, in which states the thread will enter, that are nothing but the life cycle of a thread. Now that we will discuss in detail. There are different states. See, there are different states in a thread life cycle. So the first one is new born state. New born state. burn state means a thread is created. So when the thread is created, that is in a new burn state. And when thread is waiting and thread is created and it is waiting for a processor, then it is called as the runnable state. Means when thread is in a queue and it is waiting for the processor time, then that is called as a runnable state. The next one is running state. Means thread got the CPU time, processor time, and it is executing. Then that is called as a running state. The next one is blocked state. Thread is blocked due to some reasons. Example, it is waiting for some input and it is waiting for some files to be uploaded. So till that time, means till that time, the thread is in a idle mode. That is called as a waiting state or blocked state, suspended state. The last one is a dead state. Means if the thread execution is completed, okay, so if the thread execution is completed, that is in a dead state. So when thread is created, that is a new burn state. Next, runnable state. Thread is created and it is in the queue and it is waiting for the processor time. Then that is called as a runnable state. Okay, means execution is not yet started. It is waiting for the processor time. That is called as a runnable state. So after the waiting example, the thread got the processor time and thread is executing. That is called as a running state. And thread is running and it is waiting for some input from a user and some interaction, means it needs some file to execute the program. So that is nothing but it is waiting for some input or some input. Okay, so that is nothing but a blocked state. So when it is waiting for some input and that thread will be removed from the CPU and when again it got some input from a user, again the thread can join in a queue. Means that is in a runnable state. Means running state to runnable state. And when the thread completed its execution, that is called as a dead state. Okay, so these are the different stages when means involved when thread started and when thread completed its execution. Means new burn state to the dead state. We have these states. Okay, now this 5 states. Now I will draw on the board. Here we have a different states. This diagram you need to draw in the exam. First one is new burn state. New burn state. Next, you have again running state and runnable state. Okay, from running state to runnable state, here we use yield method. Okay, and this means from new burn state, the process can enter into a either runnable or in a running. The next one is here you have a dead state. Okay, you can see the next one, it is a dead state. Means when the thread completed its execution. Okay, when thread completed its execution or by calling a stop method. Okay, now here we have one more state, that is blocked state. Blocked state. Blocked state. When running thread can enter into a blocked state. Actually, there are 3 possibilities. One is suspend, using the suspend method. Next, sleep method. Next, suspend, sleep and wait method. Now, whatever thread is entered into a blocked state, that you can restart by using a resume method and next notify method. And from locked state, you can move thread into a dead state by calling a stop. And this is a complete life cycle of a thread. Life cycle of a thread. Okay, so in the exam you need to draw this and you need to explain each and every method of thread life cycle. Newborn state. So when thread started, it means when thread is created. Means when you create an object like this, A, OB, new, A. So in this case, thread is created. Okay, so when thread is created, that is in a newborn state. And when you call the start method, like this, OB dot start method. Okay, so means thread is ready for the execution and it is waiting for the processor time. So thread is moved from newborn state to either runnable state or running state. So runnable state, when the thread will be in a runnable state, thread is waiting for the processor time, but processor is busy. Okay, so thread is waiting for the processor. So that processor is nothing but the runnable state. And example, the thread got the processor time, then it is in a running state. Okay, so when thread started its execution, then it will be in a running state. Next, when thread completed its execution, complete program execution is over, there is nothing but the dead state. And thread is running, and some technical reasons or some input and output, the thread is waiting or thread is blocked. Okay, so the thread will be in a blocked state. So these are the different states involved in a thread life cycle. Okay, you take a picture of this. So different states, newborn state, running state, runnable state, running state, blocked state, and next dead state. Okay, so blocked states, suspend, sleep, and wait. At last you have a blocked. Okay, you take screenshot of this. This picture you need to draw in the exam. It is very, very important. And picture, they will give you 2 marks for picture only. Now, we will discuss each and every state now. Now, the first one is newborn state. Okay, what is the first state? Newborn state. First one is the newborn state. So the first state is a newborn state. So newborn state means thread is created. Only thread is created. It is not scheduled for running. Okay, so it is not scheduled for a running. Then that state is called as a newborn state. Okay, so example, here I am creating a thread. A, OB, new, A. So here it is an object. Okay, object of a thread. This is a thread. This is a thread and this is an object. Okay, so when you create an object to a thread, okay, at that time thread is created. Okay, so when you create an object to a thread is created, but it is not scheduled for starting its execution. Okay, so when only a thread is created by using its object, that is called as a newborn state. Okay, so what is a newborn state? When thread is created, when a thread object is created, that is called as a newborn state. In this stage, the thread will be only the means adding unless until if you call the start method. Here only I have created an object. But when I will like this OB dot start, then what happened? The thread execution is started. So this is called as a running. Okay, so example I am not doing this. Just I am creating the thread only. Later I will execute that. So that is called as a newborn state. Okay, what is a newborn state? A thread is created but it is not scheduled for running. So that such state is called as a newborn state. Okay, so how to create a thread here? Here OB is the object of a thread. Okay, so already this like class A extends thread. Okay, so when you extend a thread and when you are creating an object, no, the thread will be in a newborn state. It is not scheduled for a running. Understood? So this is a newborn state. So this is a newborn state. The next one is runnable state. The next state is a runnable state. See example. Here A OB equals to new A. Here thread object is created. So when thread object is created, thread is in a newborn state. Now I want to start the execution. Example. Then I will call start method of thread class. So what happened? Thread execution will be started. So when you call the start method, thread will move from newborn state to the runnable state. Okay. Example. Newborn state. When you call the start method, thread will be in a runnable. Okay. Thread will be in a runnable. Thread is in a runnable. And example. When a thread enters into the runnable state, example, this is a queue. We have threads, thread 1, thread 2, thread 3, thread 4. So when you call the start method, thread will move from newborn state to the runnable state, and runnable state means thread is waiting. For example, this is a processor. And it is waiting for the processor time. So using a OB start method, thread is scheduled for a running. So when thread is scheduled for a running, the thread is moved from the newborn state to the runnable state. Runnable state means the thread is ready for the execution and it is waiting for the processor time. So it will join in the queue. Example, thread 1, thread 2, thread 3, thread 4, thread 5. 5 threads are there and that 5 threads are waiting for the processor time. Okay, so when we start the execution by using the start method, the thread will move from newborn state to the runnable state. Runnable state means the thread is waiting for the processor time. It's not yet started its execution. Okay, so it is waiting for the processor time. So when thread is waiting for the processor time, the thread will be in the queue. Okay, and example, this is the queue of a thread. And example, the thread is entered into the queue. And right now, example T1 is executing. And this thread, the execution time is less. So this thread is having a more priority. Okay, then what processor will do? This is moving out from a processor and that time slot is given to the T5. And it is possible by using a yield method. Means you can relinquish running thread, from running state to the runnable state by using the yield method. See, here thread is entered into the queue. And actually according to this queue, the T1 is having a more priority now. But the execution time of T5 is very less compared to the T1. So first T1 enters into the processor, it is starting its execution. And it is right now it is executing. Here T5 execution time is less. So this T5 will get more priority. Then what happened? T1 is removed from the processor and the same processor time is given to the T5. So this is called as a yield method. Understood? So what is a yield method? Is example, one thread is running inside the processor. Another thread is joined in the queue, which is having a more priority. So then what happened? Processor time is immediately given to the new thread which is having a more priority, and whichever thread is there in the processor, again that will be moved back to the queue, and it is possible by using the yield method. So yield method moves the running thread to the runnable state. Understood? So this is a process when the thread is executing. It is in a running state. And when one thread is executing, another thread is entered into the queue, which is having a more priority. Then what happens? Whichever thread is there in the processor, that is again moved back to the queue, and new thread will start its execution. So if you want to move the thread which is there in the processor to the queue, it is possible by using the yield method. Okay, understood? So this method changes the state of the thread, means whichever thread is there in the running state, that will be moved into the runnable state by using the yield method. Okay. Now the next one is running state. Now the next one is running state. Running state. See example. Thread A is there. Object is created. So it is in a newborn state. Okay. And after this, if you call the start method, that will be in a running state. Runnable state. It is waiting for the processor. So when it starts its execution, that is in a running state. It is nothing but the run method. So when it got the processor time, the thread is entered into the processor. That is nothing but a running state. Okay, so in running state, example, the thread is executing. The thread is in a running state means that thread is executing. See, according to your diagram, first newborn state, and the newborn state, when you call the start method, the thread will be in a running state. It is a runnable and it is a running. So when you call the start method from thread class, the thread will move from newborn state to the runnable state. This runnable state means the thread is waiting for the process time. Means the thread is in the queue and it is waiting for the process time. Example, the thread got the processor time. Then thread is moved from runnable state to the running state. Okay, means running state means the thread is executing. Actually here the run method is called. Okay, so example, the thread is executing. Meanwhile, it needs some input from a user. So it should move from running state to the runnable state. It is waiting. Okay, it is waiting for some input. Okay, understood? The thread is running. And in the program itself, it needs some values, some input from a user. Then what happened? The thread is waiting for the input, no? So the thread is not in a running state, that will be in a blocked state. The next one is blocked state. Okay, it needs some input. It needs wait for some input value from a user. And next, in the program itself, I want to make a thread into sleep for some time, so that the next thread, which is having a more priority, that I want to execute. Then I will use sleep method. So sleep method here I will give milliseconds. Then for some time the running thread will be in a sleeping mode. It will move from running state to the blocked state. Okay. So you can move a thread which is running, that you can into a blocked state by using a wait method, sleep method or suspend method. Understood? So one thread is running, meanwhile it needs some values from a user. So we are asking the thread to wait for some time. That is possible by using the wait method. Okay, and one thread is executing. For some time I want to make that thread should be sleep. So we use the sleep method. Next, suspend method. Some unexpected result and unexpected input. We are making a thread to the suspended mode. Okay. The next one. So in these three cases, the thread will move from running state to the blocked state. Now whatever thread is there, that you can move from block the state to again runnable state by using the resume method and notify. Okay, so resume method means a thread is suspended due to some reasons. Okay, that you can resume it by using the resume method. And next is sleep after the given time is over. Okay, after the given time, again the thread will need to wake up. So here you no need to give any method for this. When the time is over, automatically the thread will be wake up. Next wait method. Wait method, if the certain condition is satisfied, you can give the notify. So you can move running thread to the blocked state in 3 cases. Using the wait method, sleep method and suspend method. Whenever you call the wait method, you need to wake up the thread by using the notify. Sleep method means when the time is over, automatically the thread will be in an active state. Next, suspend method. Due to some reasons, if you are suspending the thread, that you can again recall by using the resume method. So when thread is running, you can move thread from running state to the blocked state. Again, example, from the blocked state, directly you can call stop method. Example, you don't want to make thread to be active again. So then what we are doing, whatever thread is there in the blocked state, that we are moving into the dead state by using the stop method. And from this running and runnable also you can call the stop method. You don't want to after executing. Example, after successfully completed program execution, then you can call the stop method to terminate the thread. From here also, from new burn state also you can call the stop method. You don't want to execute. So the dead state is the last one. From any other states, from newborn, from running, from locked state, you can call the stop method in order to stop the thread execution. Okay, so these are the methods which are available in a thread lifecycle. Okay, so when thread object is created, that is in a newborn state. Next, whatever thread is there in the newborn state, you can start its thread execution by using the start method. So when you call the start method, the thread will move from newborn state to the runnable state. Runnable state means here all the threads wait for the processor time. So whenever processor time, whenever their turn comes, the thread moves from runnable state to the running state. So when a thread is running and meanwhile it needs some input values and some files to be uploaded, then what happens? A thread is waiting for some input from the user. In that case, a thread is moved from running state to the blocked state. Okay, so when it gets the input from a user, again that will be moved from blocked state to the running state. Okay, so whatever thread is there in the running state, that you can move from running state to the runnable. Example, it is waiting for some input. This is one reason, and another reason is if some unconditionally you want to, you are forcing the thread to wait for some time. So you can suspend the thread. Okay, these are the different methods which makes the thread to block for some time. Okay, you can give sleep method, wait method and suspend method. Okay, so when you call the start method, the thread will enter the runnable state. Means it is in the queue, it is waiting for the processing time. So again from runnable state to the running state, means the thread is running its execution. After completing its execution, directly you can call the stop method in order to kill the thread. That is a dead state. And example, thread is running, it is waiting for some input value from a user. You can make the thread, means you can move the thread from running state to the runnable state. This is one condition. And another condition is if you want make you are making the thread to wait for some time, means some condition is satisfied, then you can suspend the thread. We have different methods to suspend the thread: wait method, sleep method, and the suspend method. So wait method, you need to give notify. Means whichever thread is in a waiting state, that you can wake up by using a notify. Sleep method means when you call the sleep method, after the time is over, that will move from sleep to awake time. And next is suspend. You will need to use resume method in order to get back the thread into a running state. So these are the different methods available in a thread life cycle. Okay, so in thread life cycle question, you need to write what is the thread and the different states of the thread. You need to draw the picture and you need to explain each and every method. And in the next class, I will explain each and every method in detail. Okay, thank you.